Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome back to Persona 3 FES. Previously, we spent a lot of time with various social links, from Mitsuru, who we found out has an arranged marriage lined up in the future for the sake of the Korijo group, Akinari, who has stopped taking his medication in order to complete his book, and Nozomi, whom we learned that his Gourmet King title may not just be fabrication. It turns out he does hold some leverage in the food establishments of Tsubiport Island, at least as far as Hakagori goes. Today, we're gonna go back into Tartarus after a couple of weeks and continue proceeding through the Harabah block. We're on the final leg of said block, and I want to get this done tonight because we do have some requests that are gonna be expiring soon. So we're gonna make our way up to the next floor, which I believe is floor 202, so we will be encountering the last group of enemies that we haven't seen yet in the Harabah block. And I did choose Yukari, Akihiko, and Ken to come along with us. I feel like with Aki and Ken, they haven't been in Tartarus for a while. They need to level up a bit. And Yukari, she's going to learn Garadine at level, I believe, 57. She's at level 56 if I'm correct. So that's why I got these three along with me for today's expedition. And we come across the first new enemy of this block, the Prime Magus. I'm gonna say they might be weak to ice. Once again, basically on their color scheme, so I'm not too sure. They drain ice. That's a bad thing. Maybe it's electricity. No, it's not, but that did quite a damage. Quite a bit of damage. Ah, they're weak to fire, okay. So the color scheme is actually a sign of what their weakness actually is. I thought it'd be what they'd be resistant to. That's why I kind of judged their colors a little bit differently. Thankfully, I do have Cert with me. Yeah, I'll use Cert. I'll think about using another persona so they get experience or benefit from the level up, but I'm not worried about that right now. We'll just take these guys out as fast as possible with a simple Mirage Dine. They were softened up thanks to some of our party members, so they didn't take that long to eliminate. Let's see, I think I'll go for the level 8 money card this time, because I don't have that much yen left to my name right now. I think that was number 3 it went up? Yes, it was. Alright. Getting a lot worse at judging these shuffle time stuff over the years. So I'm getting a little worried about if I'm actually correct on my guesses on shuffle time nowadays. Back then, I was a lot more precise about my guesses during that activity, but I guess that's dwindled down over time. 'Tis the passage of time. Just does a lot of good and bad things to everybody. Judgment Swords. I think we covered these guys before. I believe they were guardians at one time in the last block, but now they're back as normal enemies. And this time I'll switch up to somebody who might be able to level up from this. It's gonna be Odin. We'll pick Odin, but I won't attack using electricity spell, because for all I know, they might be strong or nullify or just anything good against electricity. Oh, they actually have no advantage against it. Okay. So I can use the Zaudine next turn if I want to. They're weak to darkness. Alright. It's a shame I didn't have enough money that I could go purchase Alice, because I did recently learn what Die For Me really does, and it is very, very good. I did mention what it did in text form in a recent episode, so I have a different opinion of what Alice can provide for the team now. I thought Die For Me would be some sort of ability advantage rather than like a spell or something, so that's why I didn't remember it too well. Because Judgment Swords are a lot easier to deal with now because of our strength in levels. Just to think that those guys were kind of difficult at one time, but not anymore. Aha! I've been on the lookout for these guys since I started this expedition. We came across them pretty fast, the Perpetual Sands. I don't know what they're weak to. Oh, but that was just right out of the... That was right out of the dark I took that shot, so apparently they're weak to physical skills. Okay. That makes my life a whole lot easier when it comes to hunting these guys down. I didn't think that they would have the same weakness as the last enemy we faced, but I believe it was back in Zaya. Turns out that they are pretty similar though. And I did get 2 Sansa time from those 2 enemies, as Ken leveled up for the first time in a while. He's at level 51 currently, so he is in dire need of some more grinding. And we did find another new enemy among the Perpetual Sands, the Iron Dice. I think we came across another Dice enemy in the last expedition. I believe they were the Cursed Dice. The Iron ones should be a little more difficult to deal with though. I do remember having some trouble with them in the past, but they're not like fierce, strikingly bad like those damn secret enemies. Just a thought, they were weak to Zio. I had a feeling one of these Dice enemies we come across would have a disadvantage against Alek. That can make the rest of the party learn that the Perpetual Sands are weak to physical skills. As Ken now exploits that Iron Dice's weakness and takes it out. Good. I just gotta worry about getting the Sansa time from these pests. Okay, I think I get the gist of what they're about. They're weak to all physical skills, but they nullify all elect skills. So it's kind of like what the last... Probably the opposite of what the last sand enemy we faced is. Because I know we came across another sand type foe that had this exact same property lineup. But that makes our life a whole lot easier. We should be able to get the last sand of time from them right now. And sure enough, we did get the last sand of time we needed. We had 2, so we can have 1 left over to sell off at the pharmacy later. Chances are it might go for like 5 yen a piece though, knowing how the rest of the stuff we did get in Tartarus from enemies have turned out to be worth. So I was almost right about the Perpetual Sand. They're weak to all physical skills except for strike, but they block off all elements. So here's the stat screen in case you're curious about what they're completely made of. And after that fight with the Sands, Akihiko gains 1 more level up. Oh no. Oh hell no, not you guys again. I thought I was done with you after that huge Guardian fiasco. Okay, I'm gonna go on a limb and say they're weak to Zio. Nope, they block off Zio, of course, because of course they would. Oh man, just when I thought I was done with these guys, it turns out that they're normal enemies in the Harabah block too. At least they're weak to ice. That was my second guess, to be very frank with you. I remember that these guys were weak to either electricity or ice. I guess Hurrah could benefit from getting a little experience as well if that's anything else they can learn. Oh, I do still have Alice here. I thought I used it for a fusion some time ago. Maybe I did, I just buy it back? I don't remember. I probably didn't do that. Here you are, Hurrah. Poison Arrow and another skill it can learn. I know it can learn Bufudyne, which is a very sad fact, but I'm sure we'll come across something else later on that can learn that skill. But for now, I will have Hurrah in my party. Besides, Hurrah has Rahan and Rahan, so it could be a good healing Persona 2 if I do have to take up the role of being healer sometime in the future. At least these Stasis Giants are a lot easier to deal with now, because I do not want to have another fiasco with them like I did last time when they were Guardians. That was just straight up nightmarish. At least Ken and Yukari leveled up from that last Stasis Giant battle, so it was all not for naught. Not for naught, that was a stupid way of putting it, but I'm just glad that these Stasis Giants are a lot easier to deal with now.
Wow, My persona has a new ability. I can now bring you back to the entrance instantly. However, I can only use this ability inside Tartarus.
Hey, I was wondering where we learned this. I looked up Fuka's stat screen before I started recording, and it turned out that she had one more ability to learn, Escape Route, but now we do have that ability in hand. So I think ooh, hang on, just before we get back to Fuka, I want to see what that sphere has in store. It could be really good for Ken. Oh, it is pretty good. 269 attack points with a 96 hit ratio. Famously beautiful spear with +5 endurance. I've never seen this weapon come up before. So this is a first for me. That's gonna be a first for Ken to use as well. Kinda looks more like a skinny knife rather than a spear, but hey, if it does more damage than the previous spear did, then I'm all for it. So as I'm trying not to scare off this rare shadow, we can go back to what Fuka had in store, Escape Route. I believe by hitting square, we can access that ability Fuka has now. And I believe just like the Oracle, the escape route can only be used once per visit in Tartarus. So be sure to use it wisely if you need to get out of Tartarus in a very fast hurry. Oh man. I've been waiting to come across another of these Cyclops enemies, and I don't think it's gonna be just as easy as last time. The Mad Cyclops. Oh! Got a crit on it immediately. Okay, that's nice. I know that these Cyclops are very tough to deal with, and this one is already dead. Okay. Well, so much for me being scared of these guys. Man, I should probably get scared more often, because when that happens, most of the time, I'm usually able to get lucky against the enemy I'm scared against. Okay, let's try this again, Mad Cyclops. I doubt I'm gonna get lucky this time around. There it is. Did not get a crit at all from that. So we could damage this thing pretty fast though. Except for Ken's gonna use a hum on, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, what do I know? Apparently these Cyclops enemies are a lot more forgiving than I remember them being. At least we know one of them. At least we know that's weak to light now. And to think, all this time I've been so afraid of these Mad Cyclops enemies. I think they're a lot less dangerous than I remember them being. Akidyne, Bufadyne, Fire, and Ice Boost at level 66. I'll make everyone rush in that case. Are you Yukari, your turn? And got a crit. I was waiting for that because of the distress ailment that this thing suffered from me. Unbelievable. I've gone 3 for 3 against the Mad Cyclops, and I have not gotten damaged by this thing once. Maybe I should act afraid more often, because 9 out of 10 times, that seems to help me out in the long run. Negative reinforcement, that seems to be the perfect key when you're recording for a Let's Play, because things just happen to work out for you if you act so afraid against something. I guess the LP curse works in mysterious ways in that sense. And Ken leveled up one more time. As I got something called a Spike Bra. I guess that's for Yukari. Let's see what that is. Wow. That's Spike Bra. Okay. Bra with spikes attached. That's pretty straightforward. But that defense though. I think I might give that to Yukari. Or maybe I'll save it for someone else, like with Mitsuru. Maybe we'll hold that off for Mitsuru, because I feel like if I give that to Yukari, then I'm gonna be neglecting Mitsuru in terms of defense, but that's pretty hilarious to find though, in this block of all places as well. And it's also a rare item too, what's up with that? Aha, I think we finally found the next location of the final Harabah Guardian, the 211th floor. So, the last 2 Guardians of this place, they're not that far away from each other, which is very surprising. It's probably a testament to how strong they can be and how much you have to prepare yourself for if you're going along this place for the first time.
Yes!
And
My
Yukari
skill
levels up
level
one
is
more
increased.
time. She's long past the level that she needed to use Guardine. As a matter of fact, she did use Guardine in that last fight I had. So I'm very glad she finally has that skill. Just to clarify, by using the escape route, it was like I said earlier on, you have to ask Fuka for something in order to access the escape route ability. So I want to show that off really quickly because I know I didn't do that earlier in the episode. I sense a really powerful shadow near the middle. Careful, okay? And that is our cue to go back down to the lobby of Tartarus and to regroup. Because we're finally at the, well, near the end of the Harabah block. Only one Guardian remains. And I think that's gonna do it for today on Persona 3 FES. This might be a shorter episode when I go back to edit this, but I want to save the final Harabah Guardian boss for next time, because you never know, it might end up being really short like the last two Guardians we faced off, or it could provide a decent challenge for us. We'll have to wait and see. So next time, we're gonna do just that. Until we meet again, farewell for now.
Once again, I'm back in the lab, cleaning my knives, ready for stabs. I never committed a crime I had to. Out of necessity, I don't couple. I plead guilty to Lord in the chapel. Forgiveness given cause I don't look for trouble. Instead finds me, and what I do is fight back. Never look back the past cause it hurts to think back. I pray to God cause I'm still paranoid today.